child is an uncut diamond. Austin O'Malley. I love Sarah Jane. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Feed Don't Eat Your Brain. First things first, I would like to apologize for missing a week. The week that I missed putting up an episode. I had auditions, and then I had to call back after callback after callback, and I also got pretty sick. So I apologize. But this week I will be posting three bonus episodes essentially. So I just watched three zombie shorts, and I will be posting one on Friday today, and then I will be posting another one on Saturday, and then another one on Sunday. So you guys get three bonus episodes this week, and then next week I will do Paranorman with Alina, and then coming in November we'll go full head on into season 2 of The Walking Dead. We already have the first episode out of the way, but we need to do the rest of it. So I'm super excited for season 2. Thank you guys for listening so far. Also, as you may have noticed, we have a sponsor, Anchor. So thank you for just listening and supporting this podcast. Without further ado, this episode I will be talking about the zombie short I Love Sarah Jane. Um, yeah, it was a pretty good zombie short. You can go look it up on YouTube and watch it before you listen to this episode, or not. I'll basically kind of explain what happened. So essentially, it's these kids are in a zombie apocalypse, and we essentially see how these kids are reacting to this apocalypse that has just happened. I mean, a lot of these kids are like there's no adults. Um, but a lot of these kids are angry. Like a few of them went up to this zombie, who we find out are a few of the kids' dad, and like they started like fighting the zombie, antagonizing it, and it made me think of how impressionable children are and kids are, and how much they look up to every adult in their life. Like I even remember as a kid, I looked up to adults that weren't even my parents. Even as a teenager, I looked up to leaders that went to my church. I looked up to teachers. I looked up to my siblings' friends who were older and like even still in high school. I looked up to aunts and uncles. I looked up to grandparents, things like that. And kids are really really impressionable, and I mean, this is coming from someone that doesn't have kids, so this is my opinion, but I still have opinions on this, so just take it with a grain of salt. um, and if you agree with me, then great. I really think kids are so impressionable, and if we want the world to change for the better, we have to be examples of that change in front of our kids. And right now I'm not ready to have children, because I think that I'm not emotionally or obviously financially, or like emotionally and spiritually uh, and mentally capable right now to have children, because I want to make sure when I do have children that I am ready to be the example that I want them to be when they're growing up. And of course, I know I'll make mistakes, and I know that things aren't going to be perfect. Um, I'm going to hurt my kids, not like intentionally, but you know what I mean. Like I'm going to hurt my kids' feelings sometimes. I'm gonna do things that my kids aren't gonna like, because I'm human and I am fallible as a human, but I want to make sure that I am emotionally ready to be that change that I want my kids to continue to progress. Like um, like for instance, you hear all the time that racism isn't born; it's taught. Children aren't born racist. Children aren't born sexist. Children aren't born to be bullies. It's taught. And so, and I assume most of my listeners already know this, but I just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. But yeah, that's sort of my little soapbox today. Having kids isn't too far off for me. Of course, me and Alina want to wait till we're finished with school, and we're a little bit more established financially before we have kids. So it's what I've been thinking about a lot, and it's what I've been sort of thinking about what kind of parent I want to be and what kind of dad I want to be. And I really think that I want to be I want my kids to, one, I want them to know that they are loved, and two, I want them to know that they are supported, and I will support them in whatever they want to do as long as it's a good thing. And three, that my kids will grow up to be the adults that I want to be. And I honestly think most parents feel that way. Unfortunately, not all. And I mean, even as adults, when we're around kids, I have nieces and nephews, and I try to set an example for, how I would want them to act when they're adults, essentially, when I'm around them. And so, yeah. And I mean, every parenting style is different. Of course, I don't agree with abusive parenting styles. I think that's counterproductive to what we want as a society. But yeah, yeah. And another thing that I found in the episode was this one kid was talking to another kid, and he said, "How do you think a fish feels when a fisherman catches it and then lets it go? Is it mad that the fisherman left like a hole in its mouth? Is it just sort of normal, forgets about it, goes on its way? Is it grateful that the fisherman, let it go after catching it?" And it sort of made me think of how, our actions can and will influence people and influence how other people feel. And there is a debate on, if people are able to choose whether they're offended or not, or if people are able to choose how they feel. Which I don't think that's how feelings work. I don't think, because there's a difference between, thought and emotion, and of course they both influence each other, 100%. But if someone says something mean to you or even nice to you, you can't really control that initial emotion. You can control your actions after that emotion has been processed. You can control what you say, you can control what you do, but I don't think you can control, and you can control if you dwell on that emotion, but I don't think you can control that initial emotion of whatever it was. We are in control of our actions. And I mean, we're not in control of the emotions that people feel because of our actions, but we are in control of how we go about that person's feelings, if that makes sense. If we realize that we hurt someone, it's important to not brush it off and just say, well, you're in charge of your emotions, figure it out. And it just makes me think of how much our actions just cause emotional responses. As an actor, I've learned to be receptive towards what I do that causes, my scene partner when I'm acting to react, and then what they do that causes me to react a certain way. And it is just a cause and effect all day in our daily lives of the choices that people make, how that affects our choices. And it just makes me think of how important it is to be empathetic and receptive to each other's emotions. We're not in control of anyone's emotions, right? But we are in control of how we act accordingly to other people's emotions. And I know a lot of people disagree with me. I think the more empathetic we are towards each other's thoughts and feelings, the better we will become as a society. And also, but on the other hand, if people don't want to apologize, and if people don't want to, uh, take responsibility for their actions and just essentially blame it on you, then they're just being a dick, and it's not healthy to dwell on it, and you can just let it go, and you have the decision whether you want to, if they don't want to accept that their actions are hurting you, then it's your decision whether or not you want to continue to be a part of their lives, and whether or not you want to continue, contact with them. Yeah, that fish allegory just made me think of our actions and how it makes other people feel. Well, thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Zachy the Zombie and Instagram at Feed Don't Eat Your Brain. You can also email us at feeddon'teatyourbrain@gmail.com. We also have a TikTok. It's new, brand new. Please follow us on that. And also follow 410 Horsemen on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And thank you guys for listening. Please like, subscribe, share this podcast, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you guys for listening.